I got a voicemail from a number I didn't recognize. The message was only 11 seconds long, and it changed my life forever. A man's voice whispered, "Whatever you do, don't open your front door." Then he said my name, not just my first name, my full name. And then he added something that made my blood run cold. He's already there. At that exact moment, someone knocked. 3 slow knocks. Knock, knock, knock. I froze, because I lived alone, and nobody was supposed to know where I lived. But before we get into what happened that night, subscribe to Leon Drama Stories, because every story here is filled with secrets, mysteries, and twists you won't see coming. And trust me, you are not going to predict the ending of this one. My name is Daniel. 3 years ago, I moved to a small town in Oregon after my divorce. I wanted a fresh start. No family nearby, no friends, no memories. Just me in a little 2-story house at the end of a quiet street. It was the kind of neighborhood where nothing ever happened. Old couples walked their dogs. Kids rode bicycles. The loudest thing you'd hear at night was the wind. I loved it. At least, I did until that Thursday. I got home around 9. I had picked up Chinese food and planned to spend the evening watching movies. I remember checking my mailbox. Nothing unusual. No strange cars. No suspicious people. Everything seemed perfectly normal. I unlocked my door and stepped inside. A few minutes later, my phone vibrated. Missed call. Unknown number. I ignored it. Then I noticed there was a voicemail. I almost deleted it without listening. I wish I had. I pressed play. Daniel Harper, don't open your front door tonight. No matter what you hear, no matter who knocks, he's already there. The message ended. I just stared at my phone. At first, I laughed. Some prank call. Maybe a wrong number. Then, knock. 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 I nearly dropped my phone. Someone was at my door. I looked at the clock. 9:17 p.m. Who visits people at 9:17 at night? I walked toward the front window. The porch light was on, but nobody was there. I frowned. Maybe some kids were playing a prank. Then my phone rang again. Unknown number. This time I answered. Hello? Silence. I could hear breathing. Then the same man spoke, very softly. Step away from the door. I felt my stomach tighten. Who is this? I don't have much time. What are you talking about? Do not open that door. Why? There was a long pause. Then he whispered, because if you do, you'll know you can see him. The call disconnected. I stood there in complete silence. I suddenly didn't feel like I was alone anymore. I checked every room in the house. Kitchen, bathroom, bedroom, closets. Nothing. I even looked under the bed. Nobody. I laughed nervously. I was acting crazy because of some prank. Then, knock, knock, knock. Again. The same 3 knocks. This time louder. I looked through the peephole. Nobody. I opened my front camera app. The camera showed my porch. Empty. No one there. I should have felt relieved. Instead, I felt terrified, because someone had definitely knocked. Then another voicemail appeared. I didn't remember missing another call. I pressed play. Don't trust the cameras. I stopped breathing. How did he know I checked them? I replayed the message. Don't trust the cameras. I turned around slowly. Every hair on my arm stood up. Someone was watching me. They had to be. I ran to the living room and looked outside. Nothing. No people. No cars. No movement. The street was completely empty. Then I heard it. Footsteps. Upstairs. I froze. I lived alone. The footsteps continued. Slow. Heavy. 1 step at a time. I grabbed a kitchen knife. My hands were shaking. I slowly climbed the stairs. The footsteps stopped. I reached the hallway. Nothing. Every door was closed. Then, my bedroom door creaked open. I nearly screamed. I pushed the door open. Nobody. But something was on my bed. A photograph. I picked it up. It was a picture of me, taken through my living room window. The photo had been taken that same evening. I was carrying my Chinese food. On the back, someone had written, "Don't open the door." I dropped the picture. I wanted to call the police. Then my phone rang again. Unknown number. I answered immediately. "Who are you?" "You found the picture." I couldn't speak. "Listen carefully, Daniel. Who are you? You have exactly 10 minutes. For what?" "He'll ask you to let him in." "What?" "When he does, say no." I was breathing so hard I could barely think. "Who is he?" The man didn't answer. Instead, he said, "Lock every door." The call ended. I ran downstairs, locked the front door, back door, windows, everything. Then, the doorbell rang. I jumped. I looked through the peephole. This time, someone was standing there. A man, tall, wearing a dark coat. His head was lowered. I couldn't see his face. He knocked 3 times. Then he spoke. "Daniel?" I nearly stopped breathing. He knew my name. "Can you help me?" I didn't answer. My car broke down. Silence. "Please, I just need to use your phone." I remembered the voicemail. "Do not open the door." I stepped back. The man slowly raised his head. I couldn't see his face. Because he had no face. Just smooth skin. No eyes. No mouth. Nothing. I stumbled backward. Then the porch light went out. Darkness. A second later, someone knocked on my back door. I turned. Knock, knock, knock. Then another knock upstairs. Then another in the hallway. Then another from the front door. It sounded like there were dozens of people around my house, all knocking. At the same time, I couldn't breathe. My phone rang. I answered. The stranger said, "He's angry." "What is happening?" "You saw him." "Who is he?" Silence. Then, "He only exists if you let him in." I felt tears in my eyes. "I don't understand." "You will." The line went dead. Suddenly, all the knocking stopped. Complete silence. I stood there for nearly a minute. Then the front door handle slowly turned. Someone was trying to get in. I backed away. The handle stopped moving. Then a voice came from outside. A voice I recognized. My mother's voice. "Daniel, honey, open the door." I nearly cried. My mother had died 8 years earlier. The voice continued. "Please, it's cold." I covered my ears. "Daniel, let me in." Then my ex-wife's voice. Then my father's. Then my own voice. "Open the door." I screamed. The house went silent again. Then my phone rang one last time. I answered immediately. The stranger said, "Now you know. What is this thing? It wears familiar faces. Why me?" A long pause. Then he said, "Because 3 years ago, someone opened the door for it." I froze. 3 years ago. The year I moved here. Then I remembered. The previous owner, an old man named Richard. He had disappeared. Nobody ever found him. "Who are you?" I whispered. The stranger sighed. "I used to live in your house." Everything inside me turned cold. You're Richard?" "Yes." "Then how are you calling me?" There was silence. Then he answered, "Because I never left." I couldn't breathe. "What do you mean?" "You'll understand soon." The lights suddenly went out. The entire house became dark. Then I heard footsteps. Inside, someone was walking toward me. I shined my phone flashlight. Nothing. Another step. Closer. Another. Closer. Then a whisper beside my ear. "Open the door." I spun around. Nobody. I ran upstairs. Locked myself in my bedroom. Then I looked at the mirror and screamed. Because someone was standing behind me. The faceless man. I turned around. Nothing. The mirror was empty. Then my phone buzzed. One final voicemail. I pressed play. The stranger sounded terrified. "If you're hearing this, I'm already gone." I felt sick. I made the same mistake you did. I stayed in the house too long. I couldn't move. There is only one way to survive. A long pause. Leave the house. But whatever happens, don't open the front door. I frowned. How could I leave without opening it? Then I understood. The back window. I smashed it. Climbed outside. Ran across the yard. I didn't look back. I reached my car. Started the engine. Then I finally looked at my house. The front door was open, and someone was standing inside. Me. I was standing in the doorway, watching myself, smiling. I slammed the car into reverse and sped away. I drove until sunrise. I never went back. The police searched the house. They found nothing. No photographs. No signs of anyone else. No broken window. Nothing. It was as if none of it had happened. But before I left, I checked my phone. The unknown number had disappeared. The voicemails were gone. Everything was gone, except for one thing. A new voicemail, time-stamped 5 minutes into the future. I pressed play and heard my own voice, whispering, "Whatever you do, don't go home." I've never listened to the rest of the message, because I still don't know who's speaking. Me, or the thing that was standing in my doorway. And every year, on the same night, I get another voicemail from an unknown number. I never answer. I never listen, because some doors, once opened, never really close. If this story kept you guessing until the end, make sure you subscribe to Leon Drama Stories. Leave a like, and tell me in the comments, would you have opened the door? And remember, if your phone rings tonight from an unknown number, maybe let it go to voicemail.